Tell your friends! Tell your friends about Hooks and Ladders, but also about songstudio.ca. You can get all kinds of information about songwriting, tips, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, like, follow, and subscribe. That's what we need. That's what you need.
Hey, welcome to Hooks and Ladders. What you're about to see is part of what we did at the SongStudio workshop in Toronto in July 2022. There'll be lots more to see. We're just going to roll it out a little bit at a time. So sit back and enjoy. And if you want to know more about SongStudio, visit www.songstudio.ca and check us out. Enjoy.
I have a quarrel with people, and I'm just saying this to find out how you feel about it, but with people who say this next song is about before every song that they play. And
yeah.
Because I feel like, well, shouldn't the song stand on its own? And sometimes it can illuminate the song. You know.
Here's the pattern of my life. When we were in Triumph and we would get up on stage, I would say to everybody, this has got to be like a Panzer tank. It can't stop.
Yeah.
Once we start, this show's just got to roll. There's got to be no dead air. There's got to be, it's just, every song has to segue into the next, or the production has to, like, there's not going to be any talking on the mic.
Yeah.
And then we realized that doesn't really work.
Okay.
That certain points when you're doing a big rock show, you got to have that moment where it's like kick, 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 kick. As somebody goes, how you doing out there? Like you got to have that stuff.
Yeah. True.
So you got to talk.
Yeah.
So there's moments where it's probably good to say, I mean, here I am in a workshop, and I'm going to play a song that probably nobody's heard. So I go, well, here's a song that I wrote about because I'm trying to tee it up.
You're trying to set it up, yeah.
Whereas if I'm in a concert where I know I'm in front of an audience and they know my song, so I don't even have to sing the chorus. I can just go, hey, play the chorus, and the audience is going to sing the chorus at me. And I go, okay, that's easy. I don't need to introduce that song. I only need to play the first two notes.
Right.
Yesterday,
There you go.
By the way, McCartney's 80. He's still going out and playing 2-hour shows without taking a sip of water. What the fuck is that? Crazy. He's 80.
Amazing. Yeah, I know.
I'm 68. I'm going, I'm getting a little dry here. Well, actually, I'm 69. I just turned 69.
Happy birthday. Didn't know.
Thank you.
So I was taking the chronological approach, but this is great that we've
I'm bouncing around, buddy.
Yeah, we leapfrogged over all of that, and that's great. But let's go back to Triumph. So that lasted a bunch of years, and then in a was it a flurry of acrimony? How did it end?
A flurry of acrimony? No. It ended because things started going sideways for me. 84, 85, and there was a lot of stuff that happened.
Right.
And it was starting to go bad, but it was a situation where I couldn't figure out how to get out. And even when I did by 88, so it was about 4 or 5 years. 3 or 4 years really bad.
Where you were unhappy.
Yeah. Where I was, how do I get out of this? Yeah. Because Triumph had become it wasn't just a band. There was a publishing company. We'd started a studio, and we were all partners in a recording studio that even now, Metalworks is one of Canada's most important, famous old studios. Studios come and go, not that one. Publishing catalog was a huge. Oh no, what's going to happen? How do I get out and keep my rights? So it was a mess. But eventually I gave my notice and I left. 88, fall of 88. And I went silent. But the world was changing. So that was 88. And we were just about to get into that era of, we were already in the era of sort of hair bands, MTV, your Motley Crue-ish kinds of things. So the kind of band that we were, it was on its way out. It was not going to be getting radio support. It certainly wasn't going to get MTV support. And I could smell it. I could feel it.
Yeah.
And then, I went solo. I made a pretty good record deal with Charisma Records in the States. And then, oh God, they put out, I don't know if you remember this song, they put out a single that was by Right Said Fred, I'm too sexy for my pants, too sexy for my... And they spent all this money because they had this hit and they were trying to sell product, but it wouldn't sell through. It was one of those kinds of, like a turntable kind of hit.
Right.
Lots of airplay, novelty song.
Yeah.
And they went bankrupt. They literally, they'd paid good money for my first album.
Oh, wow.
They had a 38 special album that was doing okay. And it was like the Right Said Fred thing buried them. So they literally went bankrupt. And so I'd had one song serviced to radio in the States, and now I didn't have an American label anymore. So that was kind of like, there's the Hindenburg, stick a fucking pin in that. Woo!
Wow.
It's like, it was kind of going to be over.
Yeah.
Record went gold in Canada.
Right.
And I could always go and tour the States because I was the guy that used to be the guy.
Yeah.
So I could play smaller clubs, be on summertime outdoor show things on the bill somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I could get gigs. So, yeah, that became sort of the story of my life.
Right. And that continues to this day, except
you don't
have the band, you're not regularly.
No, I've retired.
Yeah.
I don't tour anymore. I don't go for U.S. visas anymore.
I guess because of COVID, I forgot that you were retired. I was at one of your retirement shows. It was so great. But I forgot that you were retired, and also because I still see you out everywhere. So I mean, not physically, but you're doing stuff. So I forget that you're retired.
Yeah, I don't do much.
Really?
Well, I don't know.
I feel like I see you.
I do this. I was looking forward to this because this was going to be like, hey, drive downtown.
But I mean,
get out my guitar. I guess I better practice for a few days.
There's the Triumph documentary. You were doing press for that.
Yes.
You were.
Yes.
You did you're working on your memoir, and you did your book of poetry.
Yes.
It seems like you're continuing to release records.
I did not retire from being creative.
Right.
Yeah. But again, that's like I'm the guy that used to be the guy. So you have to do these things.
Yeah.
That I don't even think of that as. That's not creative moving forward-ish kind of work.
I see. I see. Yeah.
Not even like going to play a gig, which you have to have a certain amount of social responsibility to play gigs. Like I have to be careful about my throat in order to be able to sing. And I had all of my life I had to, because I wrote songs. I used to play songs where I used to hit notes every night on stage in a rock band that were here. And sometimes here. And when I was in bars before that, we used to play, do you know Sweet Child in Time by Deep Purple?
Yeah.
And so it gets to the end and the singer's going. And I used to hit those last set every night. I have a hard time hitting this down here now. But most tenors would find that really high. That's high.
Yeah.
Lay it on the line. But I used to sing. Lay it on the line. And I can't do it anymore. I just, they're not, those notes aren't, I have no confidence.
Right.
But I used to be able to kill those.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, let's face it, that still sounded pretty great, right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm cheating like crazy to get that, But yeah, and you would nail it. It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I could, we opened some shows, stadium shows. We played the Rose Bowl. Journey was the headliner right when they were massive.
Yeah.
83.
Wow.
And so, you can imagine the Rose Bowl, I don't know, like 37,000 people that are all going like, na, 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 na. And you're going, holy, wow. That's like, but backstage, Steve Perry comes to me. This is, the Don't Stop Believing guy. And he goes, holy fuck, can you ever sing high? I go, Steve Perry is telling me I can sing high.
That's amazing.
This is great. I can't do it anymore. So anyhow, but fun story.
So with Triumph, there were bad feelings and so forth. But you, at a certain point in the 2000s? It was not that long ago, relatively speaking. you decided it was with the passing of your brother Russell that you decided that,
I'll back up a bit just so that, so like I did 3 albums for Duke Street in Canada where I was hoping still maybe to get on radio, and then around 95, 96 I went, I'm just going to make indie records, and I'm going to play classical guitar solo. My whole life I'd wanted to make a classical guitar record.
Right.
And so that's the one I started with.
Okay.
Because that was the way to learn digital recording in my basement.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'll just do one guitar.
Right.
And I was like, well, I think I need some strings on this. I'll have to get a keyboard player. Well, I think I need some bass and some drums on this one, And so it became a trilogy. I did the classical guitar record, then I did a jazz record that I love, and I'm going to end my day here by playing one of those tunes.
Nice.
Because that's as much a part of my DNA as anything that I ever did. Rock star jumping around in spandex pants, I can sell that because I feel it. I can do it.
Yeah.
But I also have this kind of old school swing kind of jazz guy in me. Right. And I like that.
Yeah.
And nobody likes to buy that. Nobody buys those records. It's like writing books of poetry. Like nobody buys those either. But it doesn't mean that art is not valuable art. And so let me make this point in passing, that even though you might think, well, I'm never going to make $1 million, that's not the point. That's really not the point, because I've made $1 million, and I can tell you, it's not the point. It's not money. Like if the rhythm section's sitting there thinking, well, wait a sec, I want the SOCAN check. You're chasing it ass backwards.
Yeah.
If you want to get good at what you're doing, you have to be doing it because you love it, not because you're looking to make money. And the money might come. It might. But at least you'll be happy that you're chasing something that you love, So just get good at what you love. That's an important thing. So I made indie records for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, my brother was dying of cancer, and I'd been on the outs with the Triumph guys for 20 years.
Yeah.
And he was, like putting his affairs in order, and said, you should put your affairs in order too. And I went, fuck you. Yeah. What? Don't make this be about me, But it was like he had leverage, right?
Yeah.
This is a dying wish,
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there had been, olive branches from time to time and stuff. And there was this guy, Neil Dixon, that runs Music Week and stuff. And Neil had been my manager before Triumph, and then Triumph's manager for a short period of time.
Yeah.
We did Canadian Music Hall of Fame at Music Week, and that was 2007. And then we did Juno's Hall of Fame in 2008.
Right.
And we were back to being friends again, and we still are. We get together for Christmas, and
that's nice.
We sip scotch and tell stories, and I don't have to worry about money anymore.
Yeah.
So everybody's got their own lives.
That's really good.
Yeah. So it's good.
That's really good.
We hope you've enjoyed this little taste of the SongStudio workshop in Toronto in July 2022. Stay tuned for more.